Today in the Boot Guide, we are looking at the Thorogood Duke Wellington. So you guys have been requesting that I do a review of the Thorogood kids boots for a really long time, since they first released them back in September or October of 2017. Now I finally got my hands on a pair, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with the boot itself. The quality of the boot and the build of the boot is pretty damn good when you think about children's footwear today. Now, we're talking boys' boots here, so it's not really children's, it's young men's, correct? But when you think about kids' footwear today, what do you think about? High tops, gym shoes, Vans, stuff like that, garbage. The stuff we allow our kids to wear. So Thorogood doing something like this, the Duke Wellington, makes a lot of sense. All right, let's talk about the quality. The leather, pretty damn nice. For a kid's boot, this is a really nice hand of leather. It's going to be similar to that of what you will find in a 4200 or a 4008. The men's wedge work boots is going to be that same type of leather. Now, is it the same Seidel leather? That I don't know. There's no markings on there to tell me that it is. But the hand of it, the quality of it, it's not bad for a kid's boot. Now it's fully welted, yep, so that means you can resole it, you can put new soles on here. But obviously with the way boys' feet grow, by the time this thing is ready for a new sole, his foot's gonna be already grown out of this, and he's probably gonna be moving into smaller men's sizes. But the idea that you can rebuild something like this, that now this boot becomes generational. This boot can be passed down to the cousins. This boot can be passed down to the neighbor's kids, or your buddy at work who's got a kid who needs a pair of boots or needs a pair of shoes. This can be passed down because it's resolable, it's rebuildable. You can clean them up. You can turn them into something new. It's possible in a child's boot. Now the sole in the boot is not your typical Thorogood sole, and it's understandable. It's a kid's boot, it's not a men's work boot. But the sole is a really good chunk of blown rubber. It's nicely molded, it's nicely shaped, and there's lots of nice tread pattern in there. So if you're actually using the boot for more of an outdoors boot with your son, yeah, you know what? It's not going to be like him running around in a pair of gym shoes. You're actually going to be able to get him out there and do stuff with him and know that his feet are protected. Now, when you bend this thing, you can actually feel that there's a shank, that there's a fiberglass shank in there. If you push down on the inside of the footbed hard enough, you can actually get this shank to flex up a little bit. And that's pretty damn nice, especially when you think that you might be climbing up to a tree stand with your son, you might be climbing a ladder, he might be wearing these as work boots to go out with dad on the weekends. At least you know he's got a shank on there, so if he is climbing a ladder or doing something, his foot's protected. Now I mentioned the inside, and deep down in there, there's a little insole. It's nothing. This isn't like any of the USA insoles or any of those other ones. It's just a piece of foam that allows a second layer of comfort. More likely than not, your son is going to destroy this, so you might want to find a real set of insoles to put in there. If he's actually using this as an outdoor work boot, hanging out with dad boot, this might be a nice touch that makes his boots feel better. Now, deep down inside there, what you're going to find is you're going to find a cushioned footboard. I can't tell you without cutting this thing apart if it's cork or if it's a EVA type material, but it is extremely soft. And the other thing I gotta mention about the sole is it's not a honeycomb sole. Most of the time on kids' shoes, especially boys' boots that you find out there in this price range, in this market, what they do is they make a really cheap sole that has little honeycomb patterns. So when your son wears through the heel or wears through the forefoot, he starts to expose those patterns and water gets in, debris gets in there, and the boots are basically trash. Thorogood actually used a solid piece material sole, so your son's gonna get a lot of life out of that. Now about size and fit, well, you know what, that's up to you. You guys are gonna have to figure out what size shoe your son wears, because there's not a lot of sizes available in these things. But if he can fall in line with a pair of these, I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy, especially when he thinks that he's wearing something just like Dad. Now, that brings me to the validity of something like this, of a boot for your son. Now, it's a great idea. I mean, there's no argument in that fact that putting a real piece of footwear on your son's foot is a phenomenal idea. But what this really does emphasize and what this does build in the relationship between you and your son is that if you really are somebody who takes care of their boots, who cleans their boots, oils their boots, no longer is your son going to be passive in that event. He's going to be able to sit down with you, to join you in oiling your boots, in cleaning your welts, in getting the debris out of the sole, because he'll be able to do it to his own pair of boots. And not only are you going to be teaching him boot care and maintenance, but you're going to be teaching him how to spend time with Dad, how to share something with Dad. In today's worlds of technology and everything else, it's nice to have something like this that allows us to sit down and have some quiet time with those that are really important to us, our children and our family. And it's funny how something as simple as a pair of boots for your son could really build a bond that would last a lifetime. So that's the Duke Wellington pull-on boot for boys from Thorogood. Hey, if you currently own a pair of the Thorogood kids boots, comment below. Let the other guys know whether or not your son's happy in them. Are you guys going out hunting in them? Are you fishing in them? Is he wearing them to the job site with you? Please comment below. Hey, if you want to see some of the detailed photos I took of this boot, of the welting, the leather, the insole, and all that other stuff, just to get a good idea before you make the purchase, swing by to bootguy.com. There I will have all those detailed photos compiled into one blog posting titled Duke Wellington. Hey, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. It really helps out. Remember, if you're on Instagram or Twitter, you can always check me out there all week long. I find interesting boots, I take some photos, I put it out there so we can have conversations about those boots. If you're about to pick up a pair of these for your son, your nephew, or somebody in your family that you think would really enjoy having a pair of real boots on their feet, and you got some questions about size and just a better understanding of what the boot actually is, feel free to shoot me over an email. All right, until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.